New at 4, the city of Springfield wants to make some changes to how it handles trash and other waste.
Starting next month, people living in the city can give their feedback. Nick Kelly joins us live in Springfield with what the city wants to focus on. Nick?
That's right, Robin Lee. The city of Springfield started to look into this actually back in the summer of 2024. The focus will be on streamlining and improving its trash and waste services, and that includes recycling, which is very important to someone I spoke to earlier today at the Franklin Recycling Center. Neil Smith dropped off his aluminum cans, cardboard, and other materials for recycling today. He frequents the Franklin Recycling Center to do his part to stay tidy and help nature out.
We moved from California, and there they used to pay us to do all this recycling. Here we bring it free, but if it's good for somebody, it's good for somebody.
While he found it easy to get everything sorted, he wishes everyone knew these options were available. Plus,
they should have more, but they know property is probably at a premium, and so where they'd have these things, people would not want to do recycling.
Eric Roberts with Environmental Services says this is one of the many things the city wants to tackle by rewriting the city code. He says Springfield wants to streamline trash operations and ask what services people would want.
Could we establish collection hours that would work both for residents and haulers in the residential parts of our neighborhood? Bulky item pickup periodically, yard waste or organics collection, at least explore or have a conversation about some of those additional services. And
Roberts hopes input can lead to cleaner neighborhoods and a streamlined service with consistent collection hours and schedules, clear communication between haulers and homeowners, and a simplified permit process for haulers. This rewrite could also make it clear what can be recycled and make recycling more accessible to people, given how a study showed more than 40% of materials in the landfill can be recycled.
if the feedback is there and works with the code and those who provide the services, there is a possibility that we could add additional recycling services at the curb, or even a different or new recycling center in the future.
Now, the city will hold 3 meetings next month for people to attend and give their input. The first meeting will be on Tuesday, March 10th at 6 p.m. at the Greene County Election Center. I'll have additional dates and information in the story online at ky3.com. Live in Springfield, Nick Kelly, KY3 News.